All right. Welcome, 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 everybody. I guess we are live. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. Welcome to episode 40 of the podcast Unlimited Wisdom with Robert Hollis. And as we get started, I got to say thank you very much. If you would please hit that like button and share this podcast with everybody that you know, that would be awesome. We got a great topic today. So do that. And also, please, if you have not done so already, hit the subscribe button so that we can reach out with what we have to share to those with ears that hear. It helps us to grow our community. And we thank you so much for helping us grow. And now let's get it going. I'm Craig A. Jackman, along with Matt Hollis and, of course, Robert Hollis. Gentlemen, how are you today? I know that we're excited about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And some sharing today because of a lot of what's been happening. I'm going to say in the overall society.
Everything.
I'm going to say that because I know, Robert,
Yeah,
I want you to set it up.
Just everything. Matt, we not only have a lot of exciting things happening with the Hollis organization, but with Matt and him getting a new home, and even my oldest son, Robert Hollis Jr., just moved into a new home. It's
I know.
There's some exciting things happening for the Hollis family for sure. And even though Craig's last name is Jackman, there should be a hyphen in there for Jackman Hollis, or something other way around.
We could do that. Well, let's see now. How's this? If you're watching,
I'm inclusive,
so
so that means we got a hyphen as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So okay, let me see here. There we go. There's that. If you
gotta go ahead and save it.
There it is.
Oh, there he goes.
There we go.
I think at some point we had someone that I saw added that to their profile, and I was like a little taken aback by it. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, they just decided to call themselves Hollis, I guess.
Crazy. But yeah, I think the subject, we always get on here and we're family and we just like talking about all the exciting things. I was telling Craig and Matt that I just hung this up. They're supposed to get both of theirs today. And I just hung this up seconds before we got going. And
that's why we're a little late, everybody.
Yeah. And then one of the things that Matt shared with me that is so relevant right here on the, what did they say? The top vortex, or the
prefrontal cortex.
Yeah, whatever they call that.
Yeah.
I'll just say that it's on my mind. You guys know I'm a simple guy. But
I prefer that too.
Yeah, Matt shared with us a podcast of a girl. I should give her a shout out if you got her name. But I just love that she had 5 million subscribers on YouTube, and she's doing podcasts, and she did it with Jensen Hung, the guy at NVIDIA. And man, I just took notes after notes after notes after notes. And I think that even the way she preferenced it at the beginning, she just told them straight out. She says, I just want you to know that I'm going to ask you questions that other people wouldn't.
Cleo Abram.
And
I'm going to post that link in the in the
I
chat,
can't wait.
So.
I can't wait to go back to her channel to see which ones have the most views, to learn some more. I when you have someone that that is the founder and owner of one of the most valuable companies on the planet, that's even been #1 a couple of times, and he complimented her on her ability to ask questions, that ought to give you a clue how good that podcast is.
And she did the research, and that's a key thing, especially when you see a lot of these interviewers that are out there. They don't do the research.
Yeah,
he did. I'm sorry, I had to emphasize that because that is the point of this whole podcast that she did.
I think a person opens up, or not think, I know a person opens up when they hear something from the person that's interviewing them is something that the public didn't know, or something that she brought up. And the common theme that I just got out of this, I know you guys got some cool things out of it, but the common theme that I loved was the whole concept of, I heard Bezos one time saying that AI is going to be more valuable and more necessary than electricity. See, that's just hard for me to understand. And so when you can go all the way back, and let me explain why, it would be where Matt's mentality is computers. See, Matt doesn't remember a time where there wasn't a computer or the internet.
Right.
Me and Craig can. But I don't think that me and Craig were ever in a situation where we're trying to stay alive on a daily basis with no electricity. Okay, that was the generation before us.
Yes.
And so when you really think about somebody that was before the industrial age, and then all of a sudden, let's say that you right now had to go to a place for 3 or 4 months with no electricity, I think that you would lose your frickin' mind.
Yes.
Because when it gets dark, you can't even read a book without light. That means that you
Like-
would have to use a thing called fire and a candle. You know what I
Oh
mean?
my gosh.
So-
Me and Hannah on occasion we'll go on Naked and Afraid binge watches, and that's it hits that part, right? Like the number one thing that they got to do the first night is get shelter and fire are the most important things, right?
Well, and not only that, get used to the fact of being in that kind of situation because you're naked, you're afraid, and like you said, getting the basics.
Yeah. What is really necessary? So, immediately you find people and that go, okay, could I make my life better for me and my family with electricity? Now, today we just go, that's stupid. Well, then it's, could I make my life better with a computer? Then could I make my life for me and my family better with the internet? I still talk to people on a weekly basis that is my age and even younger that still don't have a clue that they should be using the internet to help people have a better life. It's mind-boggling to me.
Well, it's so interesting because
I just don't
you just
want
hit
to
a point
use
with
social. Go ahead, Matt.
And you know what? Maybe you already know what I'm going to say, but it's like the way that you just described the internet and becoming better is the exact same way I feel with AI with everybody else right now.
Yeah.
Like it every single time I sit down with someone and introduce artificial intelligence into their life and how it can benefit them, like I'm just such a huge advocate for it because I believe it's like I was telling this group of people yesterday about it, and I was saying it's like having Jarvis from Iron Man, basically. It's like having Iron Man armor. It makes you a lot stronger mentally and physically
Superhuman.
than you can be.
I love
And
that phrase, superhuman.
Yeah, and people don't realize how superhuman it can make you. Like people don't understand that on your phone right now, you have the answer both auditorily and visually for any problem you need to solve. And that's existent now. And it's like any problem you need to solve. So think about it. If you needed to solve why you're not getting up in the morning and not feeling depressed, that's solvable. It's right there. You just have to go have that conversation. People are scared to have it. But remember, it's an eventuality. It's not, it's no different than the internet, like you're saying, Dad. It's like saying, okay, I'm not going to use the internet. Okay, that's a foolish thought to say nowadays. And it's a foolish thought to say.
I
with
still run
intelligence.
I still run into people all day. They're still saying eyeball to eyeball, belly button to belly button. And it's like, I don't know any other way of doing this. And I'm going like,
when's the last time
okay,
someone made $1 billion business doing that?
oh,
It's getting harder and harder. But that's what part of that interview is with Jensen Huang talks about, especially the superhuman part of that.
Is his last name, how pronounce it for me? Is it Wang Hung?
I think it's Huang, like a WH, but it's really like whale, but more it's like Huang.
Wang.
Yeah. But I mean,
I didn't see Matt going up or down, so I'm just
No, I to be honest, I don't really know. I've always just said Huang.
okay.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at his spelling, which is Hueng. So obviously, if he pronounces it differently, then that's
Jensen
that's
Huang is what I've said, but maybe I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
All we would need.
It'd be funny because I've said it a lot. So I'm like,
maybe I'm
looking
saying
it up right
wrong.
now.
Who knows?
I
Like,
think
oh no, I
Need
just
to
talked to
rewatch
people
that
about
video.
this morning.
I need to rewatch that video and make sure because I think she pronounces it right. But that's something though that he
him
brings up towards
introducing
the
himself.
end.
Him introducing himself on a video at CES is probably the right enunciation of his
Yes.
name. Him introducing himself.
CES being the Consumer Electronics Show, which takes place in Las Vegas all the time. But
I'm listening.
no, what was interesting is that he specifically said what you were talking about being
It's Huang.
super.
Sorry to interrupt you.
It is Huang.
Huang. Yep. Jensen
Okay.
Huang. Yeah.
All right. So
For future reference. So
for future reference,
if I was anywhere's, I was close. So
Yeah.
okay. So now we've got that conversation.
And I bet you,
Feel like
I
5
bet you
minutes
when
there.
he says his name, I bet you when he says his name, he's not Wong.
The funny thing is we're gonna see if any of that creeps in now that I'm gonna be a father. So we'll see if I end up saying stuff like that.
Oh, you will. You will.
Oh, you.
Like, what do you mean? I already do.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm not a father, but I still do it. Of course, I've been influenced,
Right.
but that's beside the point.
But the thing I love,
Father to many. So.
a lot of people always wonder, how I made that paradigm shift, which is not a thing I've said in a long time. And what I love that Jensen Huang basically said is he said, I came up and the way that he said this was just got me. I took some notes, and he says, I invented time travel. And you look at him and he believes it, and he says, let me tell you why. Everything that I do has the ability of helping someone see something in the future. He goes, so imagination, holy shit. So he's going, I love helping people that see themselves in the future, and they use my technology to get there. And listen to this phrase, because it ripped my heart out. I stopped everything I'm doing. And he said, technology has brought me to the life things I once thought were only possible after my time. And now I have the privilege of witnessing in it my lifetime. So when we talk about people that have crazy vision, crazy imagination, they usually have to think in an unselfish way, because they know that the stuff that they're developing is going to be after they're gone. And he said the best compliment that he got was a guy said to him, the stuff that I've seen in my mind now because of you and your technology, I get to see in my lifetime. And I went, fuck, what kind of gift is that? To know where your imagination is something that you get to see in your lifetime, not something that happens after you're gone. Whew. I've heard some people talk about some grandiose things, but that will keep you pumped up about what you're doing. And then the other thing, so you guys feed into that, because I
was going to say,
go ahead, Matt.
Well, for me, I was talking to my older brother about this, because he's become more spiritual and stuff as he's gotten older. And same thing has happened to me, just in a different way, right? And when you look back, sometimes you can connect the dots. And when I was having this conversation with him, I was saying how, I grew up and was raised Christian, right? Went to church on occasion and stuff, but not every Sunday, but on occasion, right? From time to time. And I always felt like a certain way about prayer. Like, I always felt like it was atoning for my sins. I never felt like a love aspect from it, like everyone else felt.
Oh, wow.
And this was attached to a lot of other things. It's also attached to, like, I deal with obsessive compulsive disorder. So there's an aspect to it where it's like, okay, if I don't pray, like, God's going to wipe out my whole family. You know what I mean? That type of aspect. So then there's also, it becomes ritualistic in that way. And I remember at a certain point,
repetitive.
Yeah. And I'm sure no one can relate with this, but
oh no, it's across all religion, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah. So I remember just at some point being fed up with that feeling. And this was when I was really battling and working through and reading stuff on how to deal with obsessive compulsive disorder and realizing, okay, that's kind of my connection with it. So I kind of gave it up. I'm not a prayer. I don't pray or
Right.
anything like that, but this connects to something that connects to AI. So I was always wanting that love spiritual feeling that I saw people have, right? And I didn't get that from any of the things that I had attempted up to that point. And there's one moment in my life that I did feel this way. And it was after reading a specific chapter in this book called The Singularity is Near by Ray Kurzweil. You guys can look it up.
Okay.
He wrote this book. Bill Gates said this guy can predict the future like anyone else. And he's now looking more right than ever. But he wrote this book and he said, as long as I can stay alive, I believe that the singularity is near, and based off the compounding of chips and how things are expanding, that I will see cures to a lot of issues like cancer and stuff in my lifetime. I will see human beings venture off into the stars in my lifetime. And I remember reading that and putting it down and like going on a walk afterwards and feeling like this uncontrollable level of happiness. Just
Yeah.
going like wash over me going, oh, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Right. And now connecting the dots back, it feels more like a spiritual event in my life because it's not only has that proven to be true, but I've proven to be put in a position uniquely in the realm of that.
Strong.
And so it feels I feel like I have this new version of overwhelming confidence in what I'm doing because there's so much of it wrapped up in purpose now.
Yeah.
Right? Where
Well,
it
like
wasn't
you
before.
said,
And so like
well,
I
like
feel
you
like that
said,
maybe is the
yeah.
thing that translates to most to people that are spiritual from my perspective. So
Yeah, because to add on to that, Matt, is the way that you felt when you were giving, Robert Hollis Jr. and his people, right? The people that are around him that own their business. When you gave them a glimpse into their future, of what their future could be like, that's that feeling that you get when you're like leading people into, if someone was talking about a religious or organized religion, it was like being led to the promised land. When people walk across the desert with no food or no water, you're going to do it. If the story is true, you're going to do it because the person was good enough at selling you paradise. We get to this place of paradise. And what
absolutely.
organized religion does is it gives people a vision of this place after you die. So this thing called heaven. You know
Yeah,
what I
my brain
mean?
got so wrapped up in the consequences though. Like the
Yeah.
consequences
Yeah.
of life and the trap of sin, like those
Oh
aspects
my
of
Wow.
it
gosh,
really
that and
played
that
with me.
totally keeps people down when they do that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's
I,
annoying.
the
Go
reason
ahead.
I dislike organized religion is because sooner or later, if I just said this one point, now when I look at any kind of belief, if the belief is trying to make people independent, they might not have it all figured out, but they're doing their best. When someone starts giving you laws and things that you have to do to make you dependent, it's for alternate motives. It's other motives that they're doing. So when I hear people talk about what they do, and it seems like they're dependent on something, I know they're not where they're supposed to be because it's the independence, right? So you'll even hear me talk about this with like going back to Jensen in that podcast, is his whole goal is to create stuff to allow the creators to create.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's all his mind is around. It's
And you
like,
know what I'm realizing? My goal in this the part that I'm supposed to play in it is to educate and bring it to the people and inspire the people to use it.
Which you are doing
what
with
you
Yeah,
are doing.
everything that you're
and that's
working on right now.
my unique gift, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in this part that I have to play in
Because
my
how a
life.
cult gets started,
It's the
and for
same
people
way.
that, people
Yes.
that don't know this, there's only like 4 steps to creating a cult. step one is the thing that people want is love, connection, appreciation. They want to feel like they're part of something. They want to feel recognized. We want love, connection. So the world is not very good at doing this. And unfortunately, some people are raised where they duplicate a cycle that they don't feel that in their family. They don't feel that at school. They don't feel that anywhere. So now if I can just tell you that you're loved and that you're special and you're a miracle and that you're awesome, that's the first step to any kind of connection. Now, where it becomes manipulative is now I just have to tell you now that you're loved, that it's okay. It's not anyone's fault. It's not your fault. But I just need to tell you that there's been a lot of people that have been fucking lying to you. And I just point out little points of things where you go, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Now, all of a sudden, you realize that everything that's been around you through propaganda or whatever it is, a narrative that, you got to get education or you're not going to be anybody. All of a sudden, you start going, holy shit, I'm caught up in this system where everyone's fucking lying to me. There really isn't any truth. So now when you expose that much untruth, the next step, I just happen to have a little bit of truth.
I can answer your questions if you follow me.
Yeah, well, that's the fourth one. See, that's
okay. I see where you're going. I'm sorry.
All I got to do is give you evidence.
You're excited. You're eager to join. No, I'm just kidding.
So now I just got to give you evidence that you can apply immediately in your life to make your life better than it was. And now you start going, holy shit. This person or this group of people have the way.
Yeah.
They have the way. And as long as they're encouraging and give you love and acceptance and make you feel like family, you're always going to feel better around them than you do the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And not that I need to teach you guys on how to create a cult, because I know a lot. I know a lot of you.
All right, let's move into a compound and start doing that, Robert.
Yeah. So
I was going to say, I'm starting to accumulate land out here.
Yeah.
I'm just
so let me just take you to the next step that you should be looking for. Okay. Since we got into this. All right. So how you are in a cult versus not being in a cult is the people that are giving you the new information are doing it to teach you how to be independent. They're telling you to search for the answers within. They tell you to stop listening to them and other people. So
that's religious too.
Yeah. Now that you got them in this new place, the difference between cults and non-cults is people that are looking to empower people to make them understand that they're a miracle and that they're unique and that they can do all things. Now, here's where you know if we're talking about religion, and then we'll go to another subject. When organized religion or any kind of belief is telling you that you need to connect with that source, it's not to me, it's you spending time with the source. You don't need me. You don't need a book. You don't need anything. You need to spend time connected to the source. That's when you know, because that's when that person stops feeling uncomfortable to you. Because now you're wanting to be dependent. And they're telling, listen, if you notice this in Kung Fu is an old movie, right? But you'll always notice this in any kind of hero's journey by Joseph Campbell, is that part of the hero's journey is, dude, you're on your fucking own. Hang on. I love being around you, Yoda. You're on your own. You're going to have... This is a part of your journey where you've learned enough, but now you got to go discover shit for yourself. And it's like, Well, I'd rather do it with you. No, and most of the times that you see those kind of hero's journey, that's really uncomfortable for the person. But it's the only way you can actually achieve the ultimate superhuman. You gotta you gotta start. So how I want to tie this back, and I know I'm rambling, you guys can talk.
No,
It
I'm loving
is,
what you're saying.
yeah. So now we have an AI tutor. All right. So
Tell me about it.
what if you're an individual and you actually can have an R2D2 or a C3PO? What if you could have that around so you don't feel alone? You don't feel like you're doing it by yourself. So just like electricity and computers and internet, now moving into the future, there's going to be two groups of people 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. And it's the people that are allowing AI to assist them and the people that are not. And those two groups are people that are unaware, and the other group that are aware is just, I'm not building a YouTube channel. I'm not doing it. And where I see AI really compounding is, I was thinking today, even though we're doing a podcast, I would rather in a podcast point to other people that discover some cool ass shit in another podcast than me telling you about the shit that was in somebody else's podcast. So if you notice something about me that I love about myself, is I'd rather steer you to the source than be the source. I'd rather steer you to the source instead of be the source. And when you see Jensen Huang basically going, listen, I put together this $3,000 device that's going to allow all the independent creators to be more independent with their own super AI computer. You know, no wonder Matt's already on the waiting list.
Yeah, I'd
Well,
prefer to get as many as I can because I know that the exponential growth in the things that are capable of you're capable of, basically whatever you can imagine can be built. And we're into that space where you really could train AI to do anything. And so when I see that box, I see it's like Pandora's box. It's there, the infinite possibilities of what you could create.
Yeah.
So if you have an AI that you can run locally that has that much compute and power, now you're just having conversations of what you want to build and what you want to do. And
and
it's
then you
personal to
become,
you.
yeah, and you build that personal, okay, agent, bot, however you want to call it, and then it integrates with what they were talking about in that podcast, the transformers, which is pieces from these different uh, AIs. I guess would be a good way to do it. Like, Matt, your AI integrates with Robert's AI, which integrates with my AI. And now what we've done is we've taken our specialties and put them into a group that is takes all of what we think, and it works with that. And I know that
Hmm.
that's something that, the more powerful that these chips get with these Blackwell chips, it's going to be incredible, because what you develop, what Robert develops, what I develop, what he develops, what she develops, all come together. And therefore, here's your AGI, because now the artificial intelligence is growing exponentially.
Yeah. No, yeah, I everything that you're saying, absolutely. Like there's a large amount of people right now that are not realizing just how big of an event this is and the capabilities of it. And it'll be a really interesting time in human history and also American history because it will be like another industrial revolution.
Totally.
There will be a
It
lot of
already is.
yeah, you'll see so much disruption in comparison to before because there's a lot, the way that the architecture of the United States and the economy has worked, um, in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution worked incredibly well, the capitalistic
Max,
aspects of it.
sorry to disturb you and interrupt you, but do you see what's happened with the price of eggs?
The same thing that's happened anytime there's economic.
No, the only
instability.
reason I disrupted you and just did that is that's where everyone's mind is. We're talking about the future. You're about ready to share with us what you believe the future is. And it's like, no, eggs. And I'm
Just
going,
stop watching the news.
and
Yeah.
AI is going to go, listen, there's this little thing that you can take that's a little better for you than eggs. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Well, I
Go
mean
ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
yeah, the possibilities expand in multiple different directions, right? We're not just talking about the compute power, we're also talking about the fact that AI, as it starts to grow, will rewrite itself, and it already is doing this in ways that makes it faster and smaller. So you're having two situations happen at once. You're getting exponentially more compute than you thought was ever imaginable, and more energy than you thought was ever imaginable because of artificial intelligence playing a hand in the development of these technologies for itself. But then at the same time, it's becoming a lot more personalized, which will be very, very,
Yeah,
like he was saying, and this is something I've been saying for a little bit, but it's like every kid in the future, my son will grow up with an AI assistant and won't know it any differently. That's just the way that kids will grow up. They'll have something to lean on when you go, I don't really want my kid to learn from another human being in this way because that would be awkward. That conversation no
totally.
longer exists. They get to have
Totally.
that conversation with something that's not going to harm them, or something that will teach them at their level. They're a tutor that's sitting there with them, and
I
guiding them
love
in the
that. I love
direction.
that phrase, tutor. I really
Yeah,
do.
and you might ask
Yeah.
yourself, well, what about the oversight aspect of it? All of this will be connected to the parents and stuff. You'll actively
Sure.
be able to watch over and know what the AIs that are tutoring and helping your child out are doing, and what your child is
Mhm.
up to in a way that you haven't
And
before,
and it will
right? And
learn
to
based on what the parents input, for lack of a better way of saying it, input or tell the AI to do
yeah.
with their child. So in a sense, you are still parenting, even though obviously it is
Yeah.
on a different
Mhm.
level.
And my
But
my
that's
if
the
you
nice
wanted,
thing about what we're doing here today is,
right.
we are learning now to adapt, because like you
Mhm.
said earlier, Matt, the Pandora's box is open. It is
But
not going to
Well,
close
especially when
anytime
that
soon.
box, not to be specific, but when that specific box comes out, Pandora's box will have been open.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
it's already opening. I mean, it may be
Well, I
okay. Here's a closed container, but the lid is
To give you
starting
guys an
to move.
example, right? Like I have before a couple weeks ago, I've arguably the strongest graphics card that you can get. Like I have a 4090. It's a very strong GPU. It's got 24 gigs of RAM. VRAM, which is the main source that artificial intelligence utilizes in these CUDA cores. They utilize the RAM to process these things. The box that we're talking about is 128 gigabytes of VRAM in that small box. That almost doesn't make sense if you know anything about it. And on top of that, that's such an exponential jump in compute power for a personal user. That's the difference. Like if open source models continue to grow at the rate they are, and I get that personal computer or anyone else that's interested in it, and they learn and they take the time to learn, like he was saying, how to communicate with AI and how to build with
yeah.
it, you will decimate any industry you put your vision on. It's not
Yeah.
an if, it's a 100% guarantee. I
Yeah.
promise you. And that's the thing, is like I'm sitting in this position now going, like I'm having meetings with people, and I'm even reflecting on it myself going like, man, I am like in the perfect position for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
I if every single one of you guys, just like he said, could get off of this and start immediately learning how to communicate and build things with artificial intelligence, you will be doing yourself a massive favor. Like a
I
massive
You
love
favor.
shared that in our chat alone, and
yeah.
I agree with that, because you have to, in order to survive. Yes, you take the old based on what you've learned up to this point. And what do? You adapt. You learn how to move forward. Society is all about moving forward. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to adapt. Again, you've said it. The box is open, and it's going to open wider as we continue to grow and be, as humanity continues. So why not, instead of fight it, learn about it, use it. You may not like it, but at least if you learn how to use it and embrace it a little bit, you're going to stay at least consistent with everybody else.
I was going to say,
that is the exact way that we are learning how to use technology.
People used to say, I still know people that say, and it's funny when people are in a mentality where they want to fight change and fight what happens. Every time I showed someone, because I was the first person that I was aware of that had a cell phone. I was paying $5 a minute for it. And it was a briefcase with a whip antenna on it.
I remember.
And it even had a curly cord that went to the handset, right?
So it was a huge briefcase, and it weighed about 30 pounds when you lugged it everywhere.
And the one thing that I kept telling people all the time, and they go, well, I don't know if I want to carry something like that around. And I would tease people because I'm so simple, is I'm going, you're never going to believe what this thing has. And they go, what is it? And I go, it's got this button on it that says you can shut it off. Is that fucking amazing? I'd rather have something that I can shut off and use it when I need it than not have it. To me, hey, it's there's other people that are in the office now, so I guess I can say the word retarded and be okay. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like I don't have to have the word police saying, hey, that word is you can't say that word anymore. So it's just bizarre to me that
it's so funny because you never had that in the first place. It was just more of a decision.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so nowadays it's like, this is what I loved about a number of things that he said in that. In fact, this is one of the podcasts, Matt, thank you so much, that I'll watch numerous times. I know I'm going to get more and more out of it all the time. And I am one of those people that have learned, I didn't used to be that way, prior to hanging around people that thought this way. We said on previous podcasts, it's no longer that you take the 5 people that you hang around the most, and that's what you are, the average of those 5. And nowadays, it's just the 5 things you're listening to. The 5 things that you're listening to. Whether you dislike AI or not, here's something that Jensen said that just floored me. He goes, can you imagine I could grab somebody from anywhere in the world that has never seen a computer, never seen one, and I can have the most powerful computer in the world and put it in front of them, and it does nothing. Nothing. I have to explain or have someone explain to a person how to use the computer or the phone. Where are we today? I can introduce somebody to AI and they go, what is this? And he said, press this button and say, how do I use you?
And how often I say that to people. I'm like, they're like, well, how can I utilize this for my life? And I'm like, have you had a conversation with it on how to do that? I love what you're saying because it's so true. Because that's probably the number one question I get, Dad, is like, okay, I see you're utilizing AI for all these things. I feel like I could be using it for more stuff in my life. What could I use it for? And I'm like, how do you think I got to that place with it? Like I saw, and like I was telling Junior's team and stuff yesterday, I'm like, you guys will use this for work, and then you'll go home from work and it'll start to permeate into other thoughts and ideas. And you'll go, man, I think I could use this to automate what I pick for dinner recipe wise each week and buy groceries. I could completely automate that process. By you
introducing this and talking about this as you have to us, and I don't mean just us here on the podcast, but to our community, it has become that way. I mean, honestly, for me, that's what I've been able to do. I've been able to take it step by step, not as you dove, hook, line, and sinker into it. But
like I was saying in the chat earlier, I think my mind, like regardless
Yeah.
of nature, nurture, or whatever you may call it, my mind is directorial the way that it is. Like I love being able to communicate my thoughts and ideas to people, and I don't have a problem doing that. And I don't have a problem figuring out how to communicate those ideas. Like I always wanted to be a film director. So moving into the place where I had to learn, and I'm still learning every single day, how to
All
communicate
day.
to get AI to do what I need it to do for the task that I need it to do. That's all learning and communicating. And people think it's like this extremely difficult thing. It really isn't. It just takes time and energy and effort to learn. And it's like the amount of shit that you could create and the amount of things that you can do are so limitless.
Right.
You know, and like
Exactly.
like I said, I know with everything, Dad, you're saying there's a group of people that go, I ain't using social media. I ain't using the internet. These people have lived their whole lives happily and didn't need to do it. And I
Right.
get that. There's a large
Totally.
amount of people right now that are seeing artificial intelligence, and I'm not just saying it's the new internet. It is way more than that as far as a disruptor goes. There, you had all these massive companies like IBM and stuff. They're still big, but you had these massive companies pre-internet, and then look at the Fortune 500 companies now and tell me which ones are not internet based or tell me which ones are not. That's what I mean. I mean, there won't be any of those companies, and that's why they're developing AI the way they are. They will not be in those same positions in 10 to 15 years anymore. There
Yeah.
will be somebody else that comes up with an idea with artificial intelligence that disrupts these companies, and they won't be able to keep up because they'll be using the same inventive technology that you are.
Yeah. Well,
And
Matt,
so it's
one,
just a
one,
matter of creativity
yeah. Well, Matt,
and desire.
one of the things that you did for me that I wish that other people, because of your influence and your excitement and passion for AI, is, you know, I don't Google it anymore.
And now search is free. So now
Just,
you can
just,
just,
just
yeah.
think that one thing where I knew that if I Googled it, I couldn't look at the things that were sponsored. And then once I got past a sponsor advertisement links, and that's for everything, so people don't realize that if I wanted to go to PayPal, you put in PayPal and you got the company link, and then you have links above that are affiliate links, where if you clicked on a sponsored link, you might be taken advantage of or ripped
Mm-hmm.
off, or you're actually, doing something where someone's getting compensated for advertising that PayPal link. So, okay, now I got past that. But then I understand that the ones that show up higher on Google are people that understand SEO. And they're trying to
Search
bait.
engine
Yeah,
optimization.
yeah, they're trying to bait and switch you. Now they know that people are looking for those words in Google. And now what they do is, like, there's people out there that use YouTube now and stuff, and they've been doing this forever. And if you reached out to search any company name or a person, they're so good with SEO that it's like I've seen this a couple of times, but you could go in and put Robert Hollis, right? And someone will do search engine optimization where they can go in there. Whatever you do, don't listen to Robert Hollis.
And you
It's
can
like,
click on the video and it could
Yeah.
be, here's what the video will be. It'll say that, and then you'll click on the YouTube video. Because I've been doing this, working on some stuff with Akashics. And it's like, okay, so you Google and you do research. And I'm finding videos and I click on them. And it's like, whatever you do, do not join Akashics. And you click on it, it's like, I'm pitching you on Akashics.
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
It's like
Robert
the
Hollis
video.
a scam?
yeah,
And then you click on it, you're like,
Is Akashics
Robert,
really
I work
worth
with
it?
Robert Hollis. They just want the click or
And then the
whatever.
negative starts to come in, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
really? Wait, I gotta
Because
watch
what
this.
video are you
Boom,
going to click on? You're
clickbait.
looking something up to work with somebody. Are you going to click on the video that says this dude's the best, or are you going to click on the video that says this
Well,
dude's a scammer? You're going to click on the scammer
yeah,
video,
yeah. Here's the
regardless
deal,
if it's
Matt.
pro
You're
or
you're
negative.
bringing it
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
exactly. The algorithms and the things that people do now, because they know human nature better than you know yourself, is I was just trying to get a fucking answer to something, and now I'm going down some fucking wormhole, and I totally forgot that I was asking the fucking question. What
Yeah.
the fuck was I looking for again? I was just trying to figure out,
Yeah,
Why am I
you
watching this?
wonder
This is
why
not
people have
exactly
such
what
a
I
hard time
wanted.
asking questions nowadays.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's
And
something
so
that AI is going to help you with
that's my
when you
point.
talk about it. Is it learns from you and your input. So that means that you've got to be more direct, more
Yeah.
exacting. You know, if it's not right, then okay, wait a minute, this is not quite. And I've experienced this lately with a couple of things I've been working on. In particular, my acting demo reel. It's like, okay, this is not one of the scenes I developed was not. This is what I started with. Okay, great. No, this is not quite it. Can it be more this? Okay, no, it's not quite there yet. I need the guy to do this. No, it's not quite there yet. I need to say this. And
Now
then
you're
it learns.
masterminding with something that's trying to help you get there. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
that's
being a
where
So,
CEO,
AI
you're
is.
directing. That's
Yeah.
that's
And that's
what
a,
yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
And so
exactly.
what
Instead
I was saying is Matt has totally eliminated Google for me because time is money and not everyone likes to be distracted. I know they'll get mad at me for some people that are watching this. There's no way that you could even watch this podcast without being fucking distracted. That's how much algorithms have got you. You know what I mean? So you're looking at your Telegram, you're looking at your email, you're looking at other shit, you're doing a million things, and then people go, I watched your videos and I still don't understand what you're talking about. No, it's a lack of focus and lack of listening. And you got to learn that skill, right? Well, with AI, I always bring this up. I bet you I brought it up 50 times. But, you know, before the election happened, I just love that I went into AI and said very simply, you know, based on everything you know, who's going to win the election? And its response was the person that gets more people to the poll to vote. I'll never forget that answer for the rest of my life because now we're finding out that would I rather watch podcasts with people that are actually changing the world, or would I like to watch news that's clickbaiting me, trying to get me to think the opposite? Me and Matt were talking before we jumped on here, Craig. And when people don't understand AI and its speed and its efficiency, here's where people are really lost. So whether this is true or not, people are saying that Elon Musk and a few young guys got access to the payment system of the US Treasury.
if I was more vocal, maybe I'd be one of those people. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay? So there's not anybody saying that didn't happen. But what people are saying now that are uneducated is we got to get Elon Musk to stop. Do you guys understand that if you have people that are trained AI engineers, that once they access the payment system, they already know everything? See, it's the old way of thinking of going, it's going to take them forever to go through every line detail.
Well, that's why it's
Find out
scary.
where the
People,
waste is
yeah.
or the bias is or anything. When they walked in there and got access to it, they know everything.
Well, that's just the way it is, anyways, when you think
Yeah.
about everything that you sign
God,
up
like-
for. You know, everything that you sign up for. I mean, how many people have had their data breached in one way or another? Because
people
it's such
shouldn't
a
be
large
concerned
company
about the
and the hackers
yeah.
get there. I mean,
Matt, go ahead.
That's the
Yeah.
well, that's the number one thing that you'll see on the news, and that's why they're wrong. You'll see people going data breach or whatever. You shouldn't be allowed to do this. The concern, and I'm not a vocal Elon Musk advocate or anything like that. The concern that people have with this is so news based and directed based off of what the news wants you to hear and wants you to
fear.
think. The young people that he's bringing in are people that engineer and utilize artificial intelligence. Now, if they're capable of training, and I guarantee they are, a AI system with XAI, and I'm sure they have, you know, top of the line stuff. This is the US government. If they've trained it to go into those systems and go through and find small discrepancies and bring them to the attention. Remember, like, imagine the IRS for a second. One of the worst things that could happen to you in life with the IRS is that they audit you. They're like looking through all your
Yeah.
shit, right?
Yeah.
Now this takes time, it takes energy, and you have to be chosen. Sometimes it's a random, sometimes it's deliberate,
Yeah. It's a
right?
computer system with a CPU that's looking for flags.
Exactly, individually, right? And because artificial intelligence uses GPUs and the CUDA cores and things like that, you guys now know more about that because you watched that interview.
I didn't even know.
Um,
If you told me, if you would have asked me, Matt, before that video you sent me, what is the difference between a CPU and a GPU?
yeah,
I was going the first letter.
right.
Exactly.
No, that's I
I'm
mean,
with you,
and that's
Robert, on
fine
that.
though.
It's just amazing
If
how
you
it's
pointed at a
all
car and said,
yeah.
"What's the difference between a transmission and a I'd be like, I kind of know,
Right.
but no. So like um, you can have like all of this stuff kind of growing and growing and growing, and I don't know, like it always comes back to the same thing, like just the optimism that I have for
Yeah.
the ability for artificial intelligence to help us out. So if these engineers are in there and they've developed a system to find discrepancies, and before the only way to find discrepancies was with a human eye, you best believe the people that have been scamming off 10 million, 15 million off the top are fucking horrified right now that
Yeah.
this system is
Which
going
is
through.
already starting to happen. If you watch some of the news and some of the podcasts that are out there,
Exactly.
they're saying that the whole thing with USAID is opening up another different kind of Pandora's box with who is
But
actually
I
skimming off
love.
of
And
it.
here's the
If that
thing,
is
they're
the
looking
case.
at it. They're looking at it and going, that's the tip of the iceberg. They know a
Yeah.
lot more of
Exactly.
where it is already by this point, and it's just a matter of disclosure. But I'm telling
I
you,
really love that it's on both sides
Oh
because
yeah.
we seen the cultist thing that we talked about. Now we know why I was
this was
talking
I was
about it.
gonna say, regardless if it sorry to interrupt you, regardless if it was Trump, Elon Musk, anybody, this was an inevitability that humans would be brought similar, like I said to the IRS audit. Oh, the government's gonna go after you. This is the people going after the government.
Yeah.
Don't see it as anything other than that. If the news tells you that that's not the case, or that Trump's doing this or that or whatever, in this current situation, I no longer prescribe to that bullshit anymore. It's not that
Good.
I'm pro Trump. I just don't think that
How
I
do you
think
know
that
that?
there's a lot more of an incentive to stop the system from changing with these people than there is for it to change.
Yeah.
And I think if I lean now more and more in that direction, the more I'm seeing the overspending and the more I'm seeing the shit. Because the truth is, we all knew it was there.
We all did.
We
Yeah.
all knew it was
Uh,
there, and we openly talked about it.
yeah,
They're skimming
Matt,
money off of
before
us. They're,
The thing is that
but
we've
we
got a
didn't do
bull in the
anything about
china
it.
shop
yeah,
right now
Matt,
who
before
is
you were
making this.
born, yeah, Matt, before you were born,
I'd
and
better. Sorry,
yeah,
I was gonna
and
say some of the
before,
China shop thing.
yeah, before
Well,
you
okay,
were,
yes, I
yeah,
got it.
yeah, before you were born, me and Craig, trying to navigate through the world and figure out our deal, even with 3 channels.
Hmm.
You would randomly hear this shit that would shock everyone, but nothing was done about it. It's like, well, there's an investigation where we found out that the US military paid $5 million, and it's estimated they paid $500 for a hammer
Yeah, I remember that.
or a toilet seat. It's like we always heard where I seen this, believe it or not, I was on the taking end in the oil field. So when the oil field in Williston Basin, which is the backing oil fields, one of the largest in the world, and here I am under the age of 18, and all of a sudden oil rigs needed me to go out to put in a pit liner for saltwater disposal. And guess what? If it was done on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or any kind of holiday, New Year's, they need this done. And Daryl, my cousin, said Bobby will do it. Bobby's all about the money. So they would call and say, we can't shut this rig down. It's going to cost us $11,000 a minute if this rig is down. We need you out here now. And he goes, well, it's going to cost you triple time. It's going to charge you 4 times. They never, ever said no. So I don't know if you two knew this about Bobby Hollis, but Bobby Hollis could go out and work 8 hours with a trencher and lay a bunch of plastic down and bury it so they could dump their chemicals in a pit and make $13,000 in 8 hours. This is in 1977, 78, 79. And that was the money they gave me. What did Daryl, my cousin, make on that? It's like, so if a job costs $8,000, well, guess what? We're charging you $24,000. When can he get here?
It's like not having health insurance.
So at least I had a cousin that knew that if Bobby would go do it, he would give me a Christmas bonus or whatever holiday bonus it was. But that's the way the government is. And we just didn't realize it, and everyone knows it, but no one could find it. But Matt predicted this before. Matt, it's not that it's Elon. It's not that it's these young kids. It's not that it's Trump. Is people just don't realize that this is the way AI is going to be injected into our lives.
Yes.
It's
That it was an inevitability that the tools, like, think about this, you guys. The amount of fraud and the amount of shit that exists in the, not just in the US government, but in general, in multiple different areas. The reason that that can exist is because a human eye has to scrape over it and bring it to the attention and awareness of other humans. And then at that stage, even
a plane crash.
Right. And
human eye looking at a fucking radar.
Right.
That can't go, he's 100 feet higher than he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
AI wouldn't have made that fucking mistake. AI would have seen it and wired a signal to the helicopter or the airplane to go up 50, 60 feet. Jesus. I heard that when he was talking about autopilot. I knew this before. Autopilot has 3 different systems.
You're talking about airplane autopilot.
All 3 systems for autopilot. There's 3 separate systems that are running at the same time, because a few hundred people in a plane is pretty fucking important.
Right.
So you can't rely on one. You can't even rely on 2. They're going, listen, safety in a plane is a pretty big deal. We not only take out hundreds of people, but if it lands in a residential area, whoa. Our business is gone right now. So instead of putting 1, 2, let's put 3 in. Triple redundancy to make sure that people don't die. And yet we have air traffic controllers using computers that are fucking 20 years old. It's fucking embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing that.
Well, look at the space program itself too. I mean, and that's where I guess
all goes back
that's one
to,
thing that Elon is definitely doing with his SpaceX is he's bringing NASA, okay, for lack of a better way of saying it, into the 21st century.
Yeah. All he's got to do is land that rocket on chopsticks back to back. And all of a sudden people are like, hey, this guy's a little bit smarter than I am, but yet there's some people in elected offices that are on live video saying this guy's a fucking idiot. And I'm going like, man,
if you look at what we do with computers, you're on Windows, they're on Windows 95 while we're sitting here with AI. What a big, huge differential that we're talking about. And I mean, there's no wonder that there are those. I mean, yes, those systems are there and you keep them going because they're in place. It costs less money to replace them, but it's going to have to happen soon where those things are going to have to be upgraded. And here's just a way of showing that by doing this with AI, we are going to be able to be better at what it is that we're doing, whether it's being an air traffic controller, whether it's being a marketing person, or whether it's just being you.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of that. The inevitability point of the Industrial Revolution and AI is the end point of that. It's humanity's last invention.
Yeah.
So like the interesting thing about it is everything that I see government wise and the way that things are going are inevitability. The reason that everything sucks so bad in the United States is because there's been a massive oligarchy of group of people that have been stealing the money of the American people for a long period of time. Um, this is because AI is humanity's last invention. This is their last hurrah moment to get as much out of it as they possibly can
Yep.
before that moment doesn't exist anymore. So you're going to see them grasping for it, and you're going to see the media saying it's the worst thing
Yep.
imaginable because the last thing that you want is to have the government dismantled. Um, and torn apart in the way that it is right now and be scrutinized because it also another big fear of the American people, and a lot of people will say this on the news, is that it makes us look incompetent. But the thing is that if you took AI as a tool to any government, they're going to look incompetent.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not just the United States. It's an
It's
inevitability
a
of
it's
any
a
of
It's
it's
just
a
the United
layers.
States, because we are so big, that it is amplified. Because
Yeah.
if you took it to somebody like, let's say, Namibia, I'm just throwing a name out, so just forgive me. So, or anybody who is
Well,
in a
what the
third
hell is
world
that name? I don't. Is that a video game?
it's a
country.
graphics card company. No.
Yeah, but you take it to a country that doesn't know, that's not as
Okay.
big as, let's say, the United States. Yes, you have the United States, China, the Soviet Union, Russia, whatever, and then you've got your mid levels like your European countries, and then you've got your okay, what they call the third worlds. If you take it to a third world country, it's going to be, yes, it'll be impactful, but it's not going to be as impactful as like it will be in the United States.
Right.
So because we have so many people, we have so many ideas, we have so many free thinkers, we have so many people doing things that are, not just trying to
Competition of the free
survive.
enterprise is pretty fucking
Exactly. And
crazy.
there's the words right there, Robert. The competition of the free enterprise of the capitalistic system that is driving this,
Right.
because we want to try to get as much out of it as we possibly can. Yes, it will help these other countries, but in a totally different way at this point in time. We just happen to be more advanced, and it
Yeah.
will affect us even more than what it would, let's say, a smaller country. And it'll affect them, but not on as much of a grand scale.
Right. I just think I've seen that it's an hour already. Um, I know you guys know that we harp on this a lot, but it still all comes down to me each and every day is that, what you thought that you knew, that you would bet your life on. If it wasn't true, when would you like to know?
Absolutely.
And I always think it's always funny. You can, people tell you that they're not biased or they're not racist or they're not whateverist. Um, but you get to find out right away when they'll even say something, well, now that this is all being exposed on how to make a better government for the people, well, it's not as bad as it was on the other side. I just do not get the point, or at least my religion's not as bad as yours. It's this mentality that people still believe that the side that they decided to choose is better than everybody else's.
Yeah, disconnect.
And what I love
Don't.
most,
Yeah.
yeah, what I love most about this exposing of the government and every one of these things toppling is when you can go back and start seeing how bad it was on both sides. I said this statement one time, and I know that it, rocked a bunch of people's feathers, but I voted, whether you like me saying this or not, I voted for Obama because he gave me hope, right? And so the whole thing is he made 77 promises that when he was elected, then everyone got to see whether or not he pulled this off, right? And then I got to see the machine work against him. And when I talk about the machine, your imagination can get as big as you want. It wasn't a party. It was a group of people that just don't like people excited about someone that can actually do something better for the masses. And so,
Which is the whole idea behind the U.S.
well, it's
experiment.
like, yes, it's just like, what if I could come? So the masses vote for an individual because that individual says he wants to make life better for the masses. And then the second that that individual gets in office, then you got all the people that don't want things to change, do everything in their power to make that person look awful. And I'm just like, fuck, man. It doesn't make a difference if it's the government. Oh my God, did you know we caught Obama smoking? And I'm going like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? It's like 24 hours a day. It's like I gotta find kinks in this person's armor. I gotta find a way to be able to make them look bad. And that's the world that I don't want to be a part of. And
But that's what we are.
I'll never forget one point that really got me. So, he's newly elected. He's now in the White House. They're always talking about your first 100 days, right? And I see him with a chipper step. They're walking in and they're going, he gets to now go into the military and sit down with these military people because his thing is like, I'm going to pull our ass out of every war. We don't need to be in war, blah, 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 blah. Let those people, more of a sort of like America first kind of mentality. He's going to make it better for the American people. And then he goes into this meeting that lasted a couple hours and they showed him walking out of that door. And I could see a man that was totally fucking defeated. He walked in and sat around a bunch of generals and people that had all the real intelligence in the world. And now they got to tell him the real picture. And it's like, I could just see him defeated because he probably walked in there and goes, congratulations, Mr. President. I just need you to know that there's now 14 countries that now have all put you, your wife, and your daughters on the top of the hit list to be assassinated. I didn't think about that. Oh, yeah. They now got bounties out. Whoever kills you, your wife, or your two daughters, they'll get $1 million. Jesus. So I know you want to pull out of these countries, and when you pull out of these countries, you're going to take our little bases that are around those countries that are making sure that those assholes stay in their country instead of coming over here. I know you wanted to tell the American people that you're going to pull all our people out. I would highly suggest that you leave them there. And that after another one, their intelligence and their power and their influence, now they get to sit down with someone that doesn't know anything and expose it to their truth to make him realize that he couldn't do what he promised the American people. And that's why I feel very different about every elected official, because I believe brand new electric people like our new senator, Tim Sheehy, all right? I know that people get elected and they go to government and they want to be the fucking person that makes a difference. They don't want to be like everybody else until they get there and they find out what the machine is. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, you want to do something and not give me credit or not give him credit or not give them credit? I just need you to know that you can't do anything for your state unless you find a way to take care of me first. I was like, well, I don't believe in that. Well, if you don't believe in that, then I ain't voting for your deal. And now you go there with a bunch of people that, I'm not going to say them all, but let's just say a majority of people, that their number one best interest is them. But you went there for the interest of the people that voted you in. And now what happens? You either just walk away, which I've seen a lot of elected officials do. It's neat to hear a new elected official get in there. And then when it comes up, they're going, I'm not running again. I couldn't do a fucking thing there. I'm fucking out of here. But we don't talk about those people. We talk about the people that just stay in there too long. And now all of a sudden you become who you hang around. And before you know it, you're just fucking part of the machine. You didn't mean to be a part of the machine. And now every decision you make is based on your reelection. You know, how long can I stay as a cog in this fucking machine? You know, and it's like,
Yeah.
and it's like, I'll give you guys something funny because we've seen all the bad advertisement of everyone beating everyone up. The guy that won the new senatorship in Montana, because we live here, the amount of fucking shit that they were saying about this entrepreneur that used to be a Navy SEAL, right? You guys seen all the commercials. I don't need to go in them. They were trashing this guy every way but Sunday, right? And then they were saying that you guys hear about those airplanes that came in and were pulling up all the water? And they said that they were used on other California fires. It turns out to be this guy's company. So as a Navy SEAL, he gets out and builds an airplane company that their number one thing is government contracts to put out fires anywhere in the United States. And he owns more of those planes than anybody in the United States. But everybody's going, he doesn't give a shit about Montanans. So how I find this out is he's already elected and I'm watching the California fires. And they're going, you know, this company is always the first to the fires. They're just amazing. And then you seen a picture and it was him fueling up one of the planes and getting out of one of the planes. And I'm going like, that's the fucking dude that ran for a senator. And I was going like, that's the kind of footage they should have shown of him. Nah, let's make sure that Tesla stays in there for another 18 years because he you know, and so, you know, I'm optimistic that I just realized that, you know, my focus is how we can make the biggest impact on them on the largest amount of people in the fastest amount of time. And I don't want to be involved with the monkeys or the circus. It's like everyone's talking about the old status quo, the old computers, the way things are, and the way they would be. And yet there's some people out there that are like, no, it can be better. And it's going to be better for me and my family. And I'm going to make sure that it's better for others and other people's families. And that's what I'd rather focus on instead of all this craziness, all this stuff that people are like, oh my God, you know, you thought they had your attention and with distractions before the election. And then what did everybody say, including Bill Maher? I am not going to get caught up every day. What is Trump doing? What is Trump doing? What is Trump doing? Holy shit. You know, 30% of every news broadcast in the world right now is, what did Trump do? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I've said this for years and people get mad at me. The White House has nothing to do with my house. And if you still are in a mentality that you believe that it does, then you're dependent, not independent. They can raise taxes, they can lower taxes, they can get rid of eggs, they can keep eggs. They can.
You guys realize too that you know, Chat GPT and O3 that I use every single day is not even allowed in the European Union countries. Like you're not even allowed to have Sora and that stuff there.
Wow.
So think of, and that's just overarching for a lot of AI things, and they're pushing more in that direction.
Is Chat GPT allowed in China?
Oh, that's why you got DeepSeek over there. It is Chat GPT, but it's Chat GPT
reverse
CCP
engineered
edition. Yeah, CCP.
Matt,
edition.
we were talking about how the public sways you. On our news channel, it showed somebody using DeepSeek, and it just asked them what we know that they would ask it. What do you think about your president? The president of China. I can't answer that question.
Oh yeah.
What about Tiananmen Square? I don't have an answer. It's funny.
This is where we were talking earlier. That you train it for what it is that you desire it to be.
Yeah.
And
say you have one of those boxes and you have DeepSeek. You put DeepSeek on the box, you train it on everything that happened in Timian Square. You could train it on everything you wanted to, and then it would be like, okay, now I know what happened. It's just a
Which,
lack
by
of
the
those
way, I
things
don't
or a
know if you
purpose
guys,
training in the
I,
opposite direction. It's in open source, so you can train it to, and people already have, you can train it to do all those things. So
yeah,
don't listen to the media when they tell you. It's always a good idea for things to be closed source because of these reasons. That's really the fact that they were able to hit where they were, and you even saw Sam Altman say this week. He said the lead that we have is now months. It's not a year. We don't have this moat around what we're doing anymore.
Mhm.
Those Chinese models are very close. And them open sourcing them is on purpose. If you
yeah,
guys wanted to know, not just to the damage that it could do to the economy of the United States, but it's also on purpose because the more developers that they get to utilize their open source model, it's like Windows, right? Like, or Mac.
yeah,
If a majority of people get that box that comes out in May and they're running DeepSeek on it to train all of their stuff, now China has the predominant artificial intelligence ecosystem that all of these things are developed on. That will happen if the US doesn't have an open source model
got
that
it,
rivals that soon. I think Meta will probably have one by the end of February.
got it.
So I think the new Llama model will be better than DeepSeek and more closer to O3. So
But I love I love the competition because it's just forcing, God, I don't, you guys have been on enough podcasts, and if you haven't, I grew up in the racing world. And so, you know, I've been in this situation, and both of them are good because the cars go out to qualify. And the good moments were, holy shit, our car is running 3/10 of a second faster around a 2.5 mile oval than any fucking car. That puts us on the pole. Our next car comes out, just beats him. So we now have one and two. Our next car comes out, beats them both because we did this on purpose. And now we're 1, 2, 3 in the Indy. Then there was times where I went there and we watched a guy go by and we're fucked. We don't know how he got the extra speed. We're not running those laps. We don't know how to get our car that fast. And what people don't realize, it's not just about getting the pole. It's now if you know someone's running 100th of a second faster than you, what is that over 500 miles?
yeah, it compounds on itself.
Oh my God. You're just like,
Like the
shit,
speed of
30 in
chips.
35 laps, the guy's coming around and you're telling your driver, do everything you can to stop this guy from fucking lapping you. It's that big of a difference. 35 laps at 2.5 miles. In 80 miles, you're in trouble. And so that's what I'm looking at time. So what do? Immediately we're staying up all night trying to figure out how we're going to get that extra 10th of a second, an extra 2/10 of a second.
Yeah.
So these new models of AI and everyone, competing against it, I love because I just know that we're in a world where the people that create the better models going to win.
Oh, and this is the cool thing about those boxes, you guys, and I think a lot of people will realize this over the next year, with open source models and stuff coming out. But there's going to be somebody that does exactly what you just said and takes all of the footage of these cars that are winning and all of the data that all these
Oh
teams have.
yeah.
And they're going to train with that box in their own personal time an AI that you could plug in and will say, do this, 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 and this, and this will work for you.
Yep.
And that person that trains that AI will go to those teams and sell it for millions of dollars and become a multimillionaire.
Well, we already
That's the
see
new
that
economy that
with
we're
some of
talking
the
about.
AWS
Because
systems that are
yeah.
out there.
And everyone that
Amazon
doesn't use
has.
it,
Yeah.
everyone that doesn't use
No,
it
you have to.
will lose.
Yeah.
And everyone
Exactly.
that wants to use it, it will be proprietary and copyrighted. So all the money will go to that guy
Yep.
or girl. So that's the economy that we're moving into this year. That's why that box and open source is so important.
Well,
And that could
I
be anything,
felt
right? So
I definitely felt like I said my last words. I just know that I just know this, you guys. And I know some people will not listen to this, but every distraction, all distractions are the same. What we do as human beings is we try to put a higher value and maybe more reality on one distraction versus the other. So we're saying, but so you got the whole group of people out there, but you need to pay attention to what's going on. No, I fucking don't.
Do you
And
guys know that?
I would
Yeah.
rather, I'd rather
Sorry.
challenge you. And I'm saying that you keeping attention and focus when the world gets louder, because we all think it's loud right now. And I guarantee you it's just going to compound. It's just going to keep getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And the amount of stuff that's coming in, like right now, I'm building an X account, right? And I asked Grunk, because I'm an owner of Grunk, I said, I need to get to 1,000 X members. What's the fastest way to do it? And it sounds like I'm bragging, but it basically told me that I'm supposed to do what I already been teaching people.
Surprise, surprise.
And it's like, you want to be followed? Follow people.
Mm-hmm.
What? What? You want people to share, like, make comments? You need to heart, share, and make comments on other people. And X is so different than Facebook. I'm learning a lot about it. But like when I click on someone that has a lot of followers and they're a premium member, and then I follow them and then make a heartfelt comment, then when I click on it, you know what it shows for me because I'm a premium member? All the people that are premium paid members show up first.
Right.
Those are the ones that I'm hardening up and saying I agree or whatever. And I went from 200 followers to like 463 in my first week of building X.
Yeah.
And it's like, am I getting bombarded by a lot of people that are not premium members that have everything to tell me? Yeah. Yeah, I am. But I'm not going to distract it. I could actually get in those conversations and let them pitch me on shit or let me play.
You're talking to AI. So just
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
It's funny because like every time I post some new AI thing, I get private messages
Yeah.
from
And
AI
it's like,
stuff.
and it's
Like,
funny
hey.
when you do it on a big follower and you say something like it's amazing. I don't know if you guys realize, but I do my best to make a lot of heartfelt comments on Elon Musk's stuff, right? So now I have 41. Elon Musk has followed me 41 times.
Funny.
How many different iterations?
Okay. And Matt will love this. He leaves me voice messages and it's him. It's his voice.
Right. Thanks, Elon.
Yeah,
He's a busy guy, man. He
Boy,
got
he
a lot
gets
of
around,
shit.
doesn't he?
He does.
For those
Yeah.
of you that are confused right now, nah, that's AI connect. Oh, this guy's interested in Elon Musk. I'll reach out to him and be Elon Musk. And it's like,
Yeah, just because it's harder to do right
now.
now, someone's already that box that everybody you guys saw, that's $3,000. The people have computers already and they've been training AIs on these voices and stuff. It's just gonna when you say it's gonna become a madhouse, it really will. That box will make
so
it
it's
a
gonna get
madhouse.
louder. And the louder it becomes, the more you need to be focused on the imagination of the future you want to create for you and your family. You
Right.
don't let the world constantly keep you unengaged. The thing that's most important in life is your mental health, the people that you love, and you creating something in this massive circus and monkeys and chaos. It's the people that can focus on the most important things that always end up on top. And it's like when I hear the price of eggs go up, there's only two thoughts that happen in my mind. A, I can afford them. B, if they're out of eggs, I can eat something else. It's like bizarre to me that, the biggest news on the channel right now is Waffle House is charging a surcharge for an extra 50 cents for every egg that you get. And I'm going like, good for them. If the world is raising the cost of eggs for them, and it's like, I just think it's so crazy that we can get caught up in other people's loudness and noise and chaos and circus and monkeys. Uh, Man, you gotta, like Matt's on the waiting list, and some of you go, well, I might as well not get on the waiting list because I can't afford a $3,000 AI machine. My first question is why? If you hang
Yeah,
around me
please
long
don't
enough,
take this from me. No,
if
I'm
you
just
hang
kidding.
around me long enough, I will go on one extra
I've had
trip.
people, I'm not joking. This is not a joke. I've had people sign up to be on the wait list for AI stuff that I sign up for, and they have no desire to do anything with it. They're like, oh, I got an invite. And I'm like, I still don't have an invite to this, and you're not going to ever use it. Like you're not even going to play with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, not to say
Can I,
don't
can
put
I,
yourself on the wait list unless if you're going to message me with your box so I can buy it.
I'll buy it for you, then you send it to me.
No, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of people scalping them too, so
Scalping.
it's
Oh,
gonna
I
be
was
a
just thinking
wow.
of that, like
huge
tickets.
deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the last thing I just really loved about this is when the world gets louder. I will say this one statement. I remember this. It was and it honestly is not a quote that I've researched. Okay, so this is like one of those ones that I'd rather get 1% off 100 people's efforts instead of 100% of my own. You
Hmm.
really do your due diligence on that. It's like it says AI says two people said it, so it must have been a good one then. If two billionaires said it, who gives a shit who gets credit, right? So, but I was told that J. Paul Getty said, you know how easy it is to be happy and successful in America? It's the easiest thing you'll ever do. And the reason why is because you have zero competition. Zero competition. So people just don't trust the abundancy that's happening in the world. And if you didn't trust it before, you should trust it with AI. There's going to be people that understand AI enough, and they're going to be known as one of the worst people to ever use AI. And they're still going to be ahead of 7.9 billion people. You're the guy or the girl that sucks the worst at AI. And that's going to put you ahead of 7.9 billion people. Fucking let that sink in. Because that's the way I felt with computers. And that's the way I felt with the internet. That's the way I feel with YouTube. You start knocking out the top 1% of any industry. And yeah, I don't care what it is. So AI to me is the biggest world reset. It's allowing people right
Yes.
now to all start. One other thing I was going to say. The thing that I loved about Jensen's video as well, and we promoted it throughout this deal, is really Jensen Huang is just the best shovel guy I have ever seen. So there's this thing that everyone was going west to find gold for the gold rush. And people don't realize that the first multimillionaire in the state of California was the person that sold picks, shovels, wheelbarrows, cover hauls. It was the person that sold all these people that are dreamers the tools to try to strike gold. And where I see Jensen Huang is like, hey, there's a lot of people that are got video games and they wanted the best graphics. So I said, listen, I'll create a graphics card where if you want the best graphics, you got to use my card. And then he says, oh my God, did you hear this thing came out from Bitcoin? Yeah. Yeah. Well, how do you make money doing Bitcoin? Well, you can either buy it and hold it. Some people do day trading, but other people mine it. Well, what could I do to mine it? Jesus, if you have a NVIDIA graphics card, you can mine gold, you can mine Bitcoin faster than anyone. So I was mentally, while he was doing this, I'm going, Raymond Hung's like, these people want to do this, I'm going to create the chip. They're going to do this, I'm going to create the GPU. I'm going to find out what all these fucking people are doing, and I'm going to create the thing they need to create what they want to create. I'm going to be the best fucking shovel person on the planet. That didn't come out of there. That came out of me. I'm watching him going, this is the fucking pick and shovel guy. So now people are competing in AI. And would we hear? Well, not only did they sort of steal Chat GPT, but also they had a bunch of what, Matt? They found a way to get a bunch of NVIDIA's
Yeah, like the
chips.
H100s. Mm-hmm.
How would you like to be known as the guy that just, well, you know what, in racing, and I'll end with this. It's like, shit, did you see how fast that guy ran that lap? He's got a Hendrix motor. Well, fuck, of course he's got a Hendrix motor. They produce the most horsepower and they last longer than any motor. Well, I want to compete against them. Not without a Hendrix motor, you're not fucking competing against them. You see what I mean? He's put himself in the place that, well, I want a faster AI. So, you know, Elon Musk can get his ego out there and do all this shit, but he's got to be the first to call NVIDIA saying, I'll give you an extra $1.5 billion for the first supercomputers that are printed because I want my AI to be the best. It's like, they're not calling anybody else.
Yeah. No, it's a good position to be in, but you get there by being able to really see into the future past other people.
Be a time traveler.
Yeah.
And I think
yeah.
go ahead, Craig.
No, keep going.
Well, I think on top of that, you really have to be good at vocalizing that vision to other people. They got to believe that is a possibility. You know, the amount of billionaires and the amount of new industries that have grown from smartphones in the App Store. Obviously, that was a visionary idea. Yeah. I would say that was Web 2.0. So if you got 1.0, which is our stationary computers, 2.0, 3.0 is AI powered internet and AI powered communication. And with those things, we're going to have a lot more free time. If you're the type of person that's going like, man, I don't want to miss out on this. How could I utilize this? If you're right now doing data entry, right? Your job is on the brink of gone, if not very close, right? How do you solve this problem? You have two options. You either retrain yourself into a different industry. This could be something you're incredibly passionate about. AI can help pinpoint, guide, and direct you into learning everything you need to know.
And it should be.
Right. And then the second option is you want to just be wealthy, right? You don't know what it is. Okay? Have a conversation with artificial intelligence on how you can implement it into the company that you're doing right now and be the person that replaces yourself. If you are capable of doing that and learning how to do that, you can be the moment that's about to happen over this year and the next couple of years will make those types of people millionaires. You maybe don't need to be a billionaire, but it will make those people millionaires.
I agree. So, you know, when you know, people made a big funny deal out of Elon Musk when he bought Twitter, because I don't know if this is true or not, but what he did is just sent an email to every person that worked for Twitter. And just basically, that's what they say he's doing in the government right now. It's like, listen, send me a reply on what you do so I don't get rid of you. So everyone can say, you can't do this with the government. You can't just tell people that they no longer have a job. But 60,000 people said, I'll take the fucking buyout.
Right.
Okay, even if someone says it's illegal, that's 60,000 government employees that said, man, if they knew what I did every day, I don't have a job. I've been walking around this building, people thinking I'm doing shit, and I ain't doing shit. And you're going to give me money to walk out? Fucking here's my paper. But everybody else is going, so there was a lot of people that try to fight it. And then there's people going, this is my exit plan. This is my exit plan. I'll figure out something new to do in the next 8 months. I'll take the compensation. I'll fucking walk. So
yeah, a lot of people are not going to get an exit plan with artificial intelligence taking over like the data centers and the things that I'm talking about. And if you don't, like, I realistically would be having a conversation with AI right now. If you're doing something on what your exit plan and what you're going to do next is, I wouldn't, you could say that I'm joking about it, but the truth of the matter is that we're like 6 to 12 months away from a lot of those things happening. And that is if you believe in God, if you believe in any of that stuff, this should be a godsend to any of you, because it is like my dad said, the biggest equalizer that we've had in a really long time.
But the point, I was thinking why I interrupted you, Matt, is I want to be that person that you should be, that person that if someone sent you that email and said, listen, because of AI, we're cutting the staff. Can you please tell me why you need to keep your job and what do you do? Your response should be, I've learned to prompt AI. I think that I built a good enough relationship with AI that I want to be one of your people that helps AI make your company more profitable.
Yep.
Because you know what that used to be? You got a degree in college, but then they wanted to know, do you know how to use Word?
Yeah, there's no degree for this. That's why it's a big
do you know how
event.
to use Word? Do you know how to use Excel? Do you know how to use PowerPoint? I just got fucking chills.
I mean, do you know how to program has been one of the most highest paying jobs for the last decade, and that job is easily replaceable with artificial intelligence.
So now it's the people that have a relationship with AI. Do you understand it? Do you know how to prompt it? Do you know how to get it to where it needs to be? Yeah. I mean, so I know there's not a group of people out there right now that are doing, instead of Microsoft certified, it'd be AI certified. But for those of you right now that are wondering whether or not that's going to get your job get replaced, build a relationship with AI so you're not fucking left behind.
Well, the funny thing too that will happen when you do that is you'll realize, and every person that I have spend quality time with it and actually dedicate to really using it, you realize very quickly that it's an inevitability, and like anyone that's told you that that's not going to be the case is clearly wrong, and you'll see that yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's the technology. Ask it to write you an email. Ask it to plan your next day and put it in your Google Calendar. Ask it to do, like, really, people don't lean on it enough for a lot of these things. It could plan out. Here's how far I've taken it. There's a house that I want to buy where I'm living, and this is a long-term 5-year plan for me and my family. I've planned out what I'm going to do with my business with AI and how I'm going to get the money to buy that house with AI and what I'm going to do over the next 5 years with it. So you can take it that far, and that all started from one singular conversation about what I wanted to do in the next 5 years. It doesn't have to go that far, but when you have a conversation, it's like, what does your house look like?
Me and Matt and Hannah, me, Terry, Matt, and Hannah, were sitting at a table when we found out that they're going to have a new baby boy, Ezra. After our mouths were wide open and, wow, what is the future? The first thing that I said, that's all I said. All I said is I said, well, we need to get you both in a home with a really nice guest bedroom.
Right.
That's the very first thing that I said, because I'm going, Hannah doesn't have a mom. And so women have a tendency, if anybody wants to know why Junior lives in Arizona and in 120-degree weather, is because that's where Ryder and Olive were born.
That's
around Amy's parents. You know what I mean? And why Matt was born in Billings is because Terry's parents, and Women love to be around other women that have already gone through it, right? And so my first thought
I
is,
mean, we definitely can't relate with that experience.
yeah. So right away, I'm going, the grandparents need to be around, there to help in any way. And so we just throw that out, and all of us looked at each other and went, yeah, that's the next move. And Matt and Hannah are signing a lease on a new place.
Yeah, we move in on your birthday, 21st.
Ah,
Right, fate.
and so people say things can't happen fast. No, your limiting beliefs is why things
And
can't.
that is a weird domino type thing, huh? Where it's like we all have that conversation and you're like talking to us, you're like, you need to get into a place ASAP. And
Yep.
it's like exactly and it's a perfect size place. So like I said earlier, we all won't be on top of each other. That it's a decent amount of space for the dogs and everything. So
Right.
So
we've always lived in an apartment. I can't wait because I've never not had a situation where I had to deal with other people. Like I can go a whole day now.
I know I'm
And
buying
not
a
bump into
massage
anybody.
chair. The one thing that's going to be nice about your new place, Matt, is the $10,000 massage chair that you're going to have in the place.
When you move in there.
No,
I'm not
moving. I'm not moving in. It's just when it's there, I gotta.
There's a space. There's a space.
So he's got to put a little plaque on it that says
for your
courtesy
desk and
of
your chair.
Robert and Terry Hollis.
I'll put it on wheels so I can wheel it to my space when he's not there.
It does have wheels. It does have wheels. You can move it around. But yeah, so you guys have heard this, for every negative, there's a positive. What's the negative to having a $10,000 massage chair?
Not having one.
Having to stay at a place where it's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, your body gets used to stuff.
I sat in a normal chair and I'm like going, geez, I'm not, my feet are
You're
not
probably feeling that right now.
My feet are not being rubbed. My feet are not being rubbed. My back is not being rubbed. I got to sit here and just have nothing rubbed.
Isn't that like Wall-E though? Like they all have the massaging chairs that hover around and they have screens in front of them.
Yeah.
So it's like that's our future with AI, is AI takes care of everything for us and we're just being massaged and watching stuff all the time.
Yeah, people will go over to Matt and Hannah's place as a guest and go, Jesus, why do you have that chair? That's my dad's.
Well, I was already joking because, like when they made the decision to go back to Montana for a bit, you guys have like a ton of stuff in storage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be funny because when mom comes out, she'll probably
massage chair in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys could have it delivered anything you guys want.
I have one here, and I have one.
I was gonna say because I remember that one. Yeah.
Yep. You got all your stuff here. You don't have to. You just have to have them drop the pod off when you get here.
We got to talk about that. How much stuff is in there that you guys could use?
I don't know. Probably not a lot, but
as far as where's the pool table going?
That's true. Yeah. We actually have a whole space for it too.
Hey, the podcast turned into a Hollis family meeting.
Right. Now you got me thinking. I didn't even think about the pool table at all. There's like a fireplace area to fit perfectly.
There's a lot of stuff in there that you guys could use.
We'll see. When Mom and Hannah can go through, we'll just make sure it's in front of them, and then we'll move the shit. They'll go that. Because I was gonna say another aspect.
I'm paying $400 a month to store that stuff.
Exactly, and I'll have a garage. If we had
it delivered to your place and you took it all out, I just give you $400 a month.
Works for me.
Now, Matt.
No, I mean it's
finding places for everything.
Well, it's funny because if any
one of those
you guys,
little instant sheds in the back, and then
I was gonna say if any of you guys have ever been lived in California, California is probably not the only place, but Montana is just so totally different that no one does this, or at least most people don't. But we go over to look at this new house, and we've been looking at houses. Everybody's cars are parked outside the garage. Why? Because the garage is full of shit. There's so much stuff in the garage.
Yeah.
And it's like free storage, right? And the reason you can do that in California is because the weather's so nice that you don't have to worry about your car being destroyed outside, right? In Montana, you could never do that because the hail and the storms would ruin your car.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, look at all this space I got now, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to see.
How big is the garage?
I mean, I think it's a 3-car garage.
Holy cow.
Big. Yeah.
So you can cut off a part of
And
it.
we only have one car right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut off a part of it and make the other part your office. A lot of
Hey,
people have done that.
when we got our first place in Aliso Viejo, it was a 2-stall garage, and the guy already converted one of the stalls into his office.
A lot of people are doing
Right.
that.
No,
Yeah.
I'm excited about it, you guys. It'll be a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah. So we'll have to talk about all the logistics of that.
Yeah.
Private.
We got another 2 weeks before we get to see the actual pictures and everything like that. Although you've shared
We'll
with us
definitely
on
be there.
what Zillow looks like.
I'll have to
Right,
go
yeah.
look. I still haven't looked at the Zillow thing.
Oh
Yeah,
man, go look at it.
It's
But,
quite-
Don't
let's-
share it with anybody here though, because I don't need people showing up saying,
How
"Hey."
many, Matt? How many year lease are you signing?
Just a year because I want to buy a place.
Okay, cool.
It would be fun it'd be really nice because the couple is so great that owns this place. It'd be nice if we could eventually buy it and like then just move from this to a bigger one if we have more kids. Because the thing is,
Do a
it's
lease
big.
option.
It's big
Just to
for us
buy.
now, but if you have 2 or 3 kids now, it's not big enough. You need a bigger space. So
Yeah, after Ezra's here and you guys get settled in with Ezra, that's when you can do the negotiation 6 months before the lease, asking to turn into a lease option to buy. I'll help you.
yeah, because I would love to, own it. I think in my mind,
It's a nice looking place. It
just
really is.
Airbnb it out when we need to upgrade.
Yeah.
And that's an asset. But anyways, we're just talking now.
All right.
So
all
love
right.
you guys.
Well, that's what we always
Thanks
do.
for tuning in. Thanks for
Craig,
tuning
go
in.
ahead and have a great Super Bowl Sunday.
I
For
know,
those of you
exciting
that
times.
love commercials and love halftime.
And
of
for those
course,
of you that love Kendrick Lamar, what like me.
Hey, how
excited to see that.
Anything
how can
could be
you
better
do-
than the last few Super Bowl halftimes, that's for sure.
How can you
My opinion.
be so good that if you do a songs on ripping another rapper or another singer and you win 5 Grammys, that's when you got talent.
Probably good enough to win a Nobel Prize in literature as well, because he's got that.
Wow, did he really?
Yeah, for writing. I mean, him and Bob Dylan.
Wow.
I think maybe it's that one or it's some other one. I would have to look it up. Let me confirm this before we hang up on you guys.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. So here he goes. AI.
No, I'm actually Googling this one.
Okay.
Pulitzer Prize, not a Nobel Prize.
Okay. Pulitzer Prize.
So
is
he's got
different.
Pulitzer Prize for writing, but he's a hip hop artist.
Ah.
So his lyrics are so good that they're like, he needs a Pulitzer Prize. Like,
Cool.
what are some of the other writers that have that? There's a lot, but
Oh.
not Stephen King,
Yeah.
apparently, which is messed up. But anyway, let's
It
close
wasn't
this
Stephen
out,
King.
Craig.
It wasn't Stephen King, but it was definitely Harry Potter.
Yes. There we
J.K.
go.
Rowling, yeah.
I love you guys. So see
Love you guys.
later. I appreciate you. Craig,
Enjoy
close
Super
us
Bowl
out.
Sunday.
Yep. The holiday is here. Well, Sunday at least, or at least the artificial holiday.
For us Americans.
Yes, for us Americans. Well, you can follow Robert Hollis at roberthollis.com. Also, if you'd like to join our exclusive community, you can go to roberthollis.com/video to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And there's going to be lots of great content, and you'll be able to participate in our special events to help you move on to the next level. Please don't forget to like and share this video on YouTube and with others. It'll help us grow our community and reach out to those with ears to hear. Thank you so very much again for a big shout out to Matt Hollis, our executive producer. Matt, bless you. Thank you. Robert, of course. You are the foundation of our unlimited wisdom and our organization. So bless you, my friend. Thank you. And thank you for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of Unlimited Wisdom. Tomorrow, Saturday at noon Pacific, Ask Me Anything with Robert Hollis, where you get to ask a certified millionaire any question you want. And again, that's at noon Pacific, right here on Hollis, the Robert Hollis channel on YouTube. I'm Craig Jackman. Please be good to yourselves. Be cash. And until next time, bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you
Bye,
so
Craig.
much.